So, you guys seem to be enjoying this video. So, I guess I'm going to continue on with the other season recaps. So, let's go remember Season 2 of Monkie Kid. But before we begin, if you don't mind, add some video ideas you want to see. That's all. Thanks. Now, on with the show. Season 2 begins with another special, The Revenge of the Spider Queen. The special starts with MK and Monkie King sparring. After the spar session, MK tells Monkie King that he was planning to go back down with his friends to celebrate New Year's Eve, but decided to stay because Monkie King was lonely. Back to the other Monkie Kid crew, Pixie is stressed with the fact that MK is not there to help with orders, and his friends aren't exactly helping as well. While they were bickering, we cut to Spider Queen using MK's hair that she got from him in Season 1. Her concoction doesn't work though, until we are reintroduced to the little girl that was taken over by the Lady Bone Demon's spirit, and she helps the Spider Queen in order to fit her own agenda. And with a little magic, the Spider Queen's concoction works, and she uses it to take over the city and create herself some henchmen and a giant spider mech. While the Spider Queen starts taking over the city, Monkie King and MK leave Flower Fruit Mountain to help while the rest of the crew tries to escape to sea. Monkie King ends up getting captured, and then we cut to Red Sun send kebabs with DBK, who also gets captured. With motivation to save his dad, Red Sun gets a sample of Spider Queen's venom and bolts to safety. Meanwhile, MK and his friends on Sandy's boat, where they ended up escaping in his new drone copter since the ship is compromised. While in the air, they crashed into Red Sun where they decided to form a truce in order to stop Spider Queen. So they head off to the Celestial Realm so they can gather materials, including the Trigram Furnace and the Peach of Immortality, to create an anti-venom to Spider Queen's control. After retrieving the items, they head back to Flower Fruit Mountain to forge the cure and use it to free the people under Spider Queen's control. Spider Queen eventually overpowers the Monkie Kid crew until DBK comes out of nowhere after breaking out of Spider Queen's base, where Monkie King is now aware of the Lady Bone Demon's return and plans to stop her, knowing she is behind the invasion of the Spider Queen. Once Spider Queen is taken out, MK and Monkie King destroy the mech and the day is saved. But it turns out, the Lady Bone Demon got a hold of the Trigram Furnace that the Monkie Kid crew took, and now is going to use it for her master plan. Episode 1 begins with the Spider Queen's crew planning a heist to the cloud, where the scientist member of the crew creates an app that will make everyone go into a sleep trance called Sleepbug. So once everyone is knocked out except MK, who threw his phone away after he was chatting with Monkie King about his vacation plans. Now, MK discovers everyone asleep in the city, and somehow figures out that he has to go to the cloud to stop the problem, which he does. And we get a JoJo reference and a gag about MK's real name, but MK stops the Sleepbug and everyone is fine. Episode 2 starts with Monkie King astral projecting himself to MK to warn him about a giant dumpling falling to Earth from the Celestial Realm, which ends up revealing that he's actually on a secret mission and not on vacation. So MK and Tan go to find an artifact that can engulf the dumpling, and they run into one of Spider Queen's henchmen who is there to retrieve a demon revealing mirror. They fight for a bit and they retreat, making the crew question what they are doing. So they stop the dumpling, the day is saved, and we get a tease to what the Lady Bone Demon is planning. Episode 3. Monkie King sends MK a training package, which is a magic blindfold to train him to listen, while Pixie receives a ping pong table. But chaos ensues when Pixie unlocks his demon side and he starts beating people up in ping pong, so MK learns to listen and stops him. Episode 4. Pixie and MK are tired of Speedy Panda and decide to join a challenge against them to prove who is the better restaurant. The CEO of Speedy Panda ends up being Yin and Jin, the golden and silver demon. And they eventually win against them due to their loss of money, and now their company is bankrupt. I mean Yin and Jin. Episode 5 shows Monkie King retrieving something with a bone demon aesthetic, and MK checks on him via astral projection. So Monkie King gives him a lesson on shrinking himself, which MK does after washing his hands since Tang is the food critic of their shop. So MK ends up in Spider Queen's lair through the pipes and ends up discovering the Trigram Furnace and the Lady Bone Demon herself. And this is where all the trauma begins for MK. MK ends up escaping by just a sliver, but he is left scared for the rest of the season. Episode 6. MK is stressed about the Lady Bone Demon, but isn't saying anything, so he tries to find something that can help him get ready for her eventual takeover. So he ends up playing a video game Monkie King created, and learns the Wukong Flaming Fist of Fury. Episode 7. The Monkie Kid crew go to a shadow play to let loose. They have the mayor cameo, and when all of a sudden, MK is left alone in the theater after he went to get snacks, and the play he watched ended up sticking to him, reminding him of his own troubles. Where he eventually goes back to the shadow play and he chats with the puppeteer, who eventually reveals himself to be Macaque, and he messes with MK for a bit since he thinks him and Wukong are pretty much the same person, until MK proves him wrong. So he frees MK's friends and leaves. When it's dark out, Macaque returns to the theater to retrieve his lamp, and he's captured by the mayor, who reveals to be an associate to the Lady Bone Demon. Episode 8. MK has extreme hiccups, so Sandy heads to the wilderness to retrieve a special tea leaf that can heal his hiccups. But the Spider Queen is also after the tea leaf. So Sandy and one of her henchmen tussle for a bit until Sandy reveals 5% of his power and the fight is over. But the henchmen manage to retrieve a large enough piece of the tea leaf, and MK's hiccups are healed. Episode 9. MK reveals that he's unlocked the 72 transformations, and he notices some spider bots stealing Pixie's noodle shop sign, so he goes to retrieve it and ends up in Spider Queen's lair again. It turns out the Spider Queen was planning to take out the Lady Bone Demon by rebuilding her mech after rediscovering it was her. So MK and her have a fight before revealing they are both aware and afraid of her. With this knowledge, the Lady Bone Demon executes Spider Queen's henchmen and uses them to defeat Spider Queen herself, and MK escapes being more afraid of the Bone Demon than ever. Episode 10. MK and the gang decide to have some training until the Lady Bone Demon proceeds with her final plan to retrieve MK's staff. So she sends out multiple bone mechs to retrieve it, slowly draining MK's powers one by one whenever he attacks it. And once the mech was large enough and MK was running out of powers, she takes out the staff and she tries to petrify MK until Monkey King comes to his rescue battered up. With no way to stop her at the moment, they flee to the drone copter and Monkey King explains the plan on what to do next and head off on a journey to the west. And that's Season 2. Same bit, if this video does well, I'll recap Season 3.